because as you can see, it's quite thick there. The grass is quite long, so they blend in so well that it's very hard to see them. Naughty hyenas. Just as soon as we thought we had you, they walked off into the road. Now, by the looks of it, the back one seems to be maybe... Oh, there we go. Or the one that was walking further back seemed to be a male, just judging from size. But I could be mistaken. Alright. Let's see. Now, there's a bit of a road that crosses their path, so maybe we'll be able to see it. Chris Rogue, you are agreeing with me that it's potentially a male, Gwen's son Soul. Hopefully we'll be able to have another look and just see what's happening, because I think they are working. Yes, we have some of the lion tracks here that they called in earlier. Come on, hyenas. Alright, I think maybe I don't know where to go. They are still walking in this direction. Now there's a road that cuts across, so maybe they'll come to us, but I have completely lost them now in the thickets. I'm not too sure where they have been walking. But if they carry on walking like this, maybe. Let's just go slightly forward, and then we can wait for them. Or hopefully wait for them, and they'll carry on walking in the direction that they've been walking, and we won't miss them. Definitely very tricky. Just as complicated as it is to try and find a leopard cub in the long grass. It's becoming very complicated to see these hyenas. No, I want to try and wait for them on a bit more of an open spot. Maybe they'll come around. David, you're wondering why they walk alone and or in small groups and not all together. Well, it's easier to cover a lot more ground if they all spread in different directions. Perhaps even better for them to sneakily steal or scavenge kills from other predators. But if they do find something that's big enough and that warrants the attention of the rest of the clan, then you will see them all together. Especially if there are, for example, lions on a very big kill and the hyenas manage to hear it and find it, they start whooping and just calling each other back to wherever it is that there's this big food source. Now, I am hoping they're going to carry on walking. It seems like they were heading here, but I think we are a bit far ahead from them. So hopefully in the next few minutes or so we'll see them. But in the meantime, there's some very beautiful spider webs over here. Kurt, seems all like the tropical tent nest spiders that Taylor was talking about earlier on, but it's beautiful because we've got 1, 2, 5 of them pretty much on that tree. I don't think they're all from this tropical... Yeah, no, they are, now that I have a better look at them. So one of the other wonderful things with the mist and the fog that we had this morning was that there was so much moisture out in the air that we're able to see all these little things that are virtually impossible to see, or they become invisible as winter dries everything out. And, well, the idea for a spider web is just to pretty much blend into its environment. That's how the spiders catch their prey, but because they fly into it unaware that there's a deadly trap. But look, it's such a sticky material. Look at it. All the little droplets, all the little dew droplets are stuck on the web. I think it's incredible that spiders are able to spin and create something that is so sticky that even water will stick to it. Very unusual, and it is perhaps one of the strongest materials out there in the natural world. I know that they have tried to make it synthetically, or try to make something that's going to be like a spider web and in labs and everything else, but I don't think they've quite come up with something just as powerful yet. I think I read an article a while ago that spider webs are so strong in proportion that if we were able to build one big enough, it would even stop a jet from flying. It would even be able to hold it back, which I think is quite incredible. Obviously, that would be the biggest spider ever in the history of spiders. Thankfully, we don't live in a time where spiders are that big. Otherwise, I reckon we would all be food. Alright, I think maybe I'm gonna give up with the hyenas. I'm still looking underneath the bushes, just trying to see if maybe they're gonna come around, but it doesn't seem like they are. It's a bit complicated, right? think I'm going to give it another try. Go around the road, see if maybe they have carried on going in this direction. And if it is Gwen and them, well, we are still far from the den, but it could be that that's roughly the direction where they're heading this morning. Deborah, you're asking if it is true that hyenas have numerous different calls. Yes, they do. They have a vast array of many different calls that they make. Some of them sound like a grunt, some of them sound like a whoop, which is probably the most characteristic one. But yes, they've got lots of different calls to communicate between one another. And what's even more interesting, they all have their own individual voice. So if one starts calling, then the other one will know, like, oh, for example, it's this particular hyena that's calling, or now it's this particular hyena that's answering. Which is very interesting. Right. Where are you guys going? Can't really see anything else. I think maybe they've just gone further into the block. Who knows? Maybe they've got a shortcut that they use to get to their den. But still quite a while for them to get there. So I think maybe we do check. I know Taylor wanted to check later. So that's probably the best call to do, just to go and check a little bit later, because we know where two of them are and potentially heading back that way. So it's still going to take them a while to get there. Alright. It seems like Taylor has left Buffelshoek Dam, so let's go over to her and find out where she's going next.
I haven't got a clue where I'm going next. I'm just driving. I think I'm going to go down Hyena Road eventually. I'd like to check Nyala Road north and south at some point too. See if there's maybe any elephants around the drainage lines. So not even the birds are hanging around. It's so sad. I'm just looking.
Alrighty, seems like Taylor's fighting off some gremlins. I think whoop. Alright, seems like the updates from the lions is that they've all crossed into Buffelshoek, or at least two more males have crossed into Buffelshoek, doing a very big loop around, and one of them has gone all the way to Little Gowrie. Unfortunately, Shadow did cross the boundary, so we're not going to be able to have a look at her in the next while, but we know where she's hanging out, so it's a good thing. Maybe she'll come to us a little bit later as well. Now, what is that? Is that a rock? Or is that a creature? No, it's a rock, not a living creature. Now, Kurt mentioned that he thought maybe one of the hyenas was carrying something. So, I don't know. I think maybe let's just stick around here. I'm hoping that they're gonna cross somewhere and we'll be able to find out what they were carrying and if they were carrying something. Because they're still looking quite full, so I don't think hyenas are going hungry, which is also a good thing. Because as we know, Gwen is a mother as well. Gwen is a mother. Ribbon is a mother. Scarback is a mother. Well, they're all technically mothers if we want to really get very technical. I think I'm just confusing myself now. Alright, I'm gonna go very slowly around here, see perhaps we get them coming out of this thicket. Hopefully they'll be in here somewhere. Ooh. There's lots of little spider webs that are obvious to the eye now, thanks to that, to the moisture in the air, to the dew that got pretty much caught up. So it's wonderful because it's almost like little Christmas decorations on top of all of the trees. Now I know Christmas is nowhere to be found, but we were talking about in camp we would like to have a Christmas celebration in July. I don't know how that would go. But the bush is looking beautiful today. Now, come back, hyenas. Alright, I think maybe I've got to give up with the hyenas, so I'm gonna carry on driving somewhere else entirely where we haven't driven yet this morning. And of course not too far from Herbie in case he does find anything, but I think unfortunately the verdict is that all of those lions have gotten in together and they have crossed our boundary and have got north into Buffelshoek. Who knows, maybe they will be together in the next few days, and I'm hoping that we're going to hear them roaring like we did a few weeks ago. And they'll come back and they'll stay here. Justridge, you're wondering how big is the park? Well, it's a bit of a tricky one because we are a park inside of a bigger park. Oh look, it's a chin spot batis. Don't move, it's gone away. So we are operating from Djuma Game Reserve, which is about 800 hectares, and we have another property that we can traverse or go into that's called Chitwa, that's about 400 hectares. Now both of these reserves are inside of a bigger reserve called the Sabi Game Reserve, which in total is about 68,000 hectares. That was a chin spot batis fluttering around. So 68,000 hectares, but we cannot use all of the 68,000 hectares now. It's a very, very big reserve, and it's adjoined to the Kruger National Park, which is about 2.5 million hectares if you include the greater areas. So perhaps us as humans, we cannot use it all, and I reckon if we were able to traverse in all of it, like it would take ages to just go from one spot to the next. But why is encouraging and what's great about it is that animals can go wherever they want, and it's fantastic because they have bigger spaces, bigger areas to move around. And because nobody, or at least in the southern greater Kruger area, nobody hunts them, they are very relaxed and they allow us to see them very, very often. Now these two little chin spot batis are still fluttering around. Oh, but they're tricky little birds to try and spot. I think there's one in this tree. Do not move. Stay there. So you have been my little nemesis. Oh no, it's gone. It's gone. We can hear them all around. Tick, 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 tick. Very pretty. There's one also here. Every time I point at them, it's like they know, and it's up. Alright, 2 seconds. Just stay there for 2 seconds. They're jumping around. There we go. This is one of the smallest little birds that we have in this area. But I think they're very fast and small, so it makes it very complicated for us to be able to catch them on camera. I can, yeah, just the movement there. Alright, off it goes. Sorry, that was a nice effort. They're not the easiest little things to see. Alright, bye-bye little ones. We can carry on. Now, I saw something fluttering around here, but I've lost it again. Alrighty, seems like no hyena luck, so hopefully we'll be able to solve that mystery as well a little while later when Taylor goes and checks the hyena den. Maybe we'll see what was being carried, or if not, maybe we'll just have the two adults there, which would be quite nice. Alright. I think this moisture and this fog caught everyone by surprise, and all of the animals are a bit confused because it almost feels like the start of a summer morning. It's quite nice, and often we will go driving in the summer. Well, everything looks a lot greener than this. That's forgiven, but it's got that very condensed feeling to it. And I think a lot of the animals are like, oh, what is this? It's so nice and wet. We don't know what to do. But perfect for all the little creatures and for all the antelope, because now as they start eating, then they're going to grab all the moisture from everything that they eat. So if there are a few droplets of water on top of what they eat, then even better for them to have an easy way of staying hydrated. Oh my. Alright, seems like Taylor wants to... Oh look, we've got a diker running in front of us. Just behind the bushes? No. I just hid away. Alright. Seems like this is the road of the creatures that hide. So, seems like Taylor is making her way to Chitwa. She is on an elephant man. Hopefully she'll get them somewhere around there. So we're just maybe gonna wait a little while, give the hyenas enough time to go back to the den, and then we'll go and get it a little bit later. Because like I said, we're still far away, so I just want to make sure.
Hello everybody, sorry about that. I'm not sure where Ali is driving around, but apparently that's where the gremlins are. Now we're also still just bumbling about. We're about to go back through the Mulwati. Like I said earlier, we haven't had any luck at all, and I'm wondering if it's not a bad day to do a bit of birding. So I've still been trying to find those black-collared barbets for you. Maybe this morning will be the day. Who knows? Otherwise we're going to go back down towards Chitwa. And I saw lots of those elephant tracks, well, the elephants that we had last night went down in there. So I think that they were feeding in the drainage line, which we can't get into. But hopefully by now they've decided to go even further south, and that means that they'd have to cross up onto that big open plain just slightly west of the Chitwa airstrip. So we'll go and have a scratch around there and see if anything else develops. We'll also maybe check around the area where we had the leopard tracks crossing out. Maybe they turned around and came back. Who knows? So we'll give that side a bit of a bash, because down here it's very quiet. There's really not much going on at all. I haven't seen any more fresh tracks of anything, just hippo tracks all over at the moment. Okay, let's go through here. We'll go up, we're going to come out at Spaghetti Junction. It's just up on Twin Dams. I'm not going to go through the Mulwati because I know that there's so many gremlins today. I think it's got something to do with the cloud cover. There's a thick wall of clouds, so that could be changing it up. So we're just going to quickly go through here. Hopefully no gremlins get us. If you're wondering what a gremlin is just the term we use to describe the odd signal problem that we get every now and then. And unfortunately these things do sort of happen, just in case you were new and you didn't know and you thought we were maybe slightly bonkers that we're talking about gremlins. Right, let's check here. We haven't checked Treehouse Dam either. Did we check Treehouse Dam? No, we didn't. We checked Twin Dams. Nothing around in sight, which is unusual because typically there's lots of impala around here. I wouldn't mind spending a bit of time with some warthogs. Maybe we'll go past and see if Gwen's old den, that burrow that she was using, her and the warthog share, we'll go see if maybe our dear friend the old man warthog is sitting in his burrow. It'd be a good day to stay in your burrow for your warthog. And we'll go have a look. It'll be something else. We haven't popped past there in a very long time. So we need to do that. Let's see. You're gonna keep scanning. Come on, any bird, show yourself. Not even a go-away bird up on the trees today. Where is everyone? This is normally a great area to come and look for animals. Come on, Craig, help me spot a bird. Anyone. You're trying, you're looking. Can you believe it? Nothing. See, there's some elephant tracks around here too, but I suspect they go in the same direction. And now they're not down drinking in the Mulwati. Nothing on that termite mound. Okay, let's go around. We might get lucky though this afternoon if we're having a bit of a quiet drive now. If these clouds hang around for a bit longer, it will encourage the cats to keep moving. So even though we might not be out on safari, they could still carry on with their day and cross back onto this property, or the lions could come south, come back from Buffelshoek. That's a possibility too. I'm not sure if what pride it is, if it's in Kahumas, or if they actually got. I didn't quite get a clear update. I actually don't think they're too certain as to which lions they've got either. But maybe Rexon will head down that way and then he can give us an update onto who exactly it is. Just check. So we're going to go past Twin Dams again. where all the elephants were yesterday afternoon. They were walking around here. I can't believe we haven't seen one bird in this entire time. That's amazing. That must be the longest I've ever gone without seeing something fluttering. I can hear something chirping, but where is it? We've got a Franklin. Oh, over there. There's some birds. Ones we've actually seen quite a bit of this morning. They're just walking past that dung. Like Craig said, on the animal pathway, well spotted. I can hear crested barbets also calling. I can hear the drongos. Is that an African green pigeon that just landed in this jackalberry? I heard the sort of the sound that the wings of either a dove or a franklin makes. Hang on, who have I got running around there? You see, is that a oh, it's a squirrel that's jumping about as well, the one running around. No, it's a bit too high. It's just sitting out of our reach. It's watching us from above, but right up on top of our heads. Okay, let's go around. Let's see what else we can get. No, starling, come back. I don't have brakes. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. But we will get this virtual starling. Where did you go? No. Oh, there it is. Just sitting there. Hello. There we go. Beautiful bird with a very tattered tail. Now, Roshni, you're wondering if I've ever some coloured starling or violet back starling. Violet back starling. I have indeed, and we see them lots in this area. We should actually start to see them soon. Let me check when they arrive. If you just watch that bird for 2 seconds, I'm going to open my app, my bird app, and we'll go to S for starlings. I'm just not 100% certain when they should start coming back. In a few months. Oh, where we got starling. Let's find the right one now. There's so many ones. Are you singing your beautiful call? So they should start coming back, yeah, around September. We should start to see them, Roshni. Maybe even slightly earlier, so even towards the end of August, we could potentially see them. They're intra-African migrants. Listen to it, it's beautiful. Very chatty, this one. No, it's not the bird with the most beautiful voice out in the bush. There's definitely plenty others that can sing a better tune. But it's trying its absolute best. It's like, I suppose, when I try and sing, I try my best. It doesn't always come out very nicely. So 10 out of 10 for you, starling, for effort. I say, let's keep going. Let's see what other birds we can find. Let's see if we can get some with prettier calls. So Roshni, we will start looking out now for those starlings. And quite exciting. They're beautiful birds. Really, really pretty. I like all the starling species. Oh, there's many impala that were not here earlier this morning when we came through here. So we'll have a look at them. Hi, impala. First I thought it was just a bachelor herd, but it doesn't seem to be a bachelor herd. There is 2 females, 3 females, and then the rest are all boys. All rams. You can see the one that's sort of just in the middle has got his head down on the ground. If we go to the left, yes, that big ram. Yeah, there he is. The one just to the right, he's got his bum towards us. Yes, that one. He's actually standing on a midden. So he must be maybe the dominant ram in this area. There we go. You can actually see him utilizing that midden now. So they'll use that as a territorial display. One of the markings. See if he follows the rest of the herd. But he could be around here. He could be the dominant one. He's a beautiful ram. There's a couple of big ones also, and they seem to all be chasing after those 3 females. I feel like the competition is high over here. There's a couple of young upstarts that think that they might have a chance, but they don't. They're too young. They'll be bossed and pushed around. Let's reposition. 12 years old, you're wondering how far now.
Alright, sorry guys, seems like Taylor said, the gremlins are attacking us using the full force of the cloud cover. But luckily I got out of the bad gremlin zone, and I'm sure Taylor's going to do the same, and everything shall be fine. Now we have been driving around here just to try and give the hyenas a little bit of a chance to get back to the den before we go and check the den, and hopefully they'll be there. With this weather, I'm not too sure if maybe little Djuma will be out and about and feeling very cheeky and moving, or if she's going to be very sleepy and just inside of the den. I think it's a 50-50 for cubs. Although Shadow's tiny little one certainly was very active this morning. Alright, doesn't seem like there are too many things here, and unfortunately it seems like we've all reached the conclusion that the lions have moved onto Buffelshoek. The tracks do join up and then they go towards the gate, pretty much onto Sydney's Dam, and then carry on somewhere from there. Once I heard Buffelshoek, I think my brain then just kind of blocked all of the information out. Right, we're gonna come also down to Gowrie Dam, which has been giving us some amazing views as of late. And yesterday, of course, we had so many migrations there. We have the crazy lapwings flying around all throughout. Then we had the buffalo, the wildebeest migration. I think there was an impala migration at some point too. So lots of fun around that dam. Now, I don't think that dam is going to be that busy throughout the day today, and purely because there's so much moisture that animals can get from other places. So, we shall see what will happen. And this weather is odd. It feels like the weather that we start getting right before summer. But I'm sure it'll just last for today, and tomorrow everything will be back to normal. But I'm really hoping we're going to have another beautifully hectic foggy morning, or very misty morning. It was incredible this morning. It looked so beautiful, like almost part of a painting. Almost didn't look real, and even though we were looking at it with our own eyes. Alright. Like a roller coaster. Always that little spot makes me feel like I'm dancing in the car. Alright, Gowrie Dam, you're not too far. Let's see what you've got to offer for the day. I wonder where those wildebeest have gone off to, because I didn't see them around quarantine this morning, although I don't think I could have anyway, because the fog was so thick over there. Fog mist? I don't even know which one it was. Alright, doesn't seem to be too busy around here today. Do I see a different kind of bird down there? I am very puzzled by what I thought I saw, because I think this dam has been the dam of the bird mysteries for me. Now, we're not too far, maybe we'll be able to see it. I am thinking that perhaps it was something like an Egyptian goose, because they are around often, pretty much claiming the dam for themselves. Whoa, almost there. Chris, woo! You're wondering which is the rarest bird that I've seen in the Sabi sand. Well, a secretary bird is definitely on the top of my list. I will still not forget that day when I was just like, what? A secretary bird? Like, what's happening? And I was so very much confused with that. And there was a lineup even for that bird, like a normal proper sighting, because it wasn't an open area. It was just one of the strangest things. And luckily I had a photo to prove it, because my friends were like, oh, you don't know your birds. What would it be doing here? But I did have photographic proof for it. Now, it seems like it is an Egyptian goose all the way over there. And I think in terms of smaller birds, the rarest one that I've seen was an arena trogon when I used to work at Lion Sands. There's the goose, and on top of it, it seems like some green pigeons were flying around. Oh, there's a squirrel alarming here. Where are you, squirrel? There's actually such a big racket from birds all around us that I don't even know where the squirrel was calling from. James, you're wondering which resident bird species get outcompeted the most by migratory bird species. Well, I think there are a few. I think lilac-breasted roller get outcompeted by European rollers often. We pretty much at one point we started missing the lilac-breasted rollers because there are so many European ones around. Then, well, what's the name? The kingfishers, the woodland kingfishers, they're quite bullies and they just pretty much seem to outcompete anything that comes in their path. I want to think of some other obvious examples of other things that might come around. But I think the most pressing one that I've got in my mind now is the lilac-breasted roller with the European rollers. And then also when we have that big influx of carmine bee-eaters that come into this general area. Also, perhaps the white-fronted bee-eaters don't feel so confident with them around because they come in big flocks. Ah, hello. I think for a while there was talk of renaming the Egyptian geese as the African tree duck. This one might not have a head. Might have lost it sometime during the night. Because there is no head attached to it. No, just hiding behind the bushes. Now, let me just scan around here just to see if we can pick up on anything, because there was a squirrel in the distance that was making a funny noise. Who knows, maybe little Tumba has come back to this area. But no, I think the squirrel has gone quiet, so whatever it was nothing to really worry about. Ah, you've got a head again. Hello. Alright, we shall leave all the goose around here and carry on with our search. I think time to start making our way towards the hyena den, see if they've already gone back. I feel like I've given them a fair chance to just cover the distance that they had to cover to get all the way there. And we shall see who's around. Ryan, you're wondering what my favorite bird is called. It's the red-billed oxpecker. So those tiny little birds that jump on top. Ah, coal. My favorite bird, coal. Okay, I thought there was in cold, as in like, what's the name of... Okay, never mind. What's my favorite bird, coal? That is an interesting one. I think African fish eagle. I absolutely adore it. And then I have a love-hate relationship with the woodland kingfishers. I miss them so much when they're gone, and when they come back in summer, just starting to hear the first calls, it's just like, yes, they are back, and I get super excited. But then because they are so noisy all throughout summer, then towards the end of summer you're like, okay, you can migrate back. So I think I'm just spoiled with the bird calls. But I don't know, I would have to say that probably the African fish eagle is the most iconic one. Has that power of making me believe that I'm close to dams and transporting me to a happy place. So I think maybe that's the one. Let me see, I might even be able to play it for you, and then you can judge from there. Let me just get my very trustworthy app. Okay. Sorry, I just have to type the name quite quickly. No, it's not a gish, it's a fish. Alright, there we go. So that's what the African fish eagle call sounds like, and I think it's definitely my favorite. Or I don't know. This is a good question. But when I think of beautiful bird calls, that's the first one that comes to mind. I find it wonderful. I find it's almost like it sounds like there's water being poured somewhere. So that's the one. And I think I like the oxpecker one also, because whenever they start making a call, it's a very good indication that there's a mammal somewhere around. So I'm gonna stick with those two. Alright. Wildebeest? Where have you gone off to? I would imagine a lot of the animals went to quarantine. we are going to head onto quarantine, see if perhaps we can figure out where the wildebeest went to. But let's go over to Taylor and find out what her favorite bird call is.
Now I'm thinking what my favorite bird call is. I like the calls of the chugras, they're very pretty, and of course the brown scrub robin. Favorite one, and I like them all, to be honest. I just picked up some leopard tracks, some male leopard tracks. They look like from late last night. I haven't driven this road yet, but they cross into Chitwa, so I just want to quickly double check because I can't remember seeing them this morning when we were on Gari Main. But I think I've just obviously missed them because they don't look particularly fresh. So we'll just have a quick look around here, and then we'll go towards the airstrip and see what else is about. And we're basically heading down into the area where I had all those leopard tracks who we think could be Hosana and Shongile. And we'll just have another look. They could have come back again. Might have been just the hyenas that chased them around a little bit and made them slightly nervous. Looks like there's a guide at the dam now. There were lots of hippos. We went past there very quickly earlier when we were trying to chase after them while you were seeing the shadow. And the pod that we saw yesterday afternoon that was near these rooms right on the eastern corner have moved towards the island. It'll be quite nice to go all the way around there. But again, hippos, you've got to get them first thing in the morning, early or through in the afternoon, because they're most active. Now they're not going to be doing very much.
Oh, sorry guys, I think maybe the gremlins got excited now that Taylor found some fresh male leopard tracks. Interesting, I wonder. I would imagine that they belong to Tingana because he hasn't been seen around here, but about 2 days ago he was in Simambili, so maybe he's just done a very long loop around. Perhaps they belong to quarantine. I know quarantine hangs out not too far from there. But interesting. Slender mongoose! Oh, can you see this mongoose here? Sorry, we don't see this one all that often, and it's just standing on top of the termite mound, so I really don't want it to go away. Oh, hello! Yes! Okay. Now, this is bigger than the dwarf mongoose that we normally see, and I don't know if you notice that very dark tip of the tail that's black. That is the main characteristic of this slender mongoose, and they are solitary. They don't live in big groups like some of the other ones do, or like the dwarf mongoose that we get around this area. So pretty much identical to a dwarf mongoose, just a longer nose and that very long tail that's got the black tip to it. Now let's just wait around here, see if perhaps she will show us, or it will show us the tail again. Oh, nice. This was a good find that it was so happily around there. Yay! We see them running around often, but they're very hard to have a look at because they don't stand still and because they are solitary. But yeah, we've got a slender mongoose with us. Nice. That was good. I'm happy with that. I thought maybe it was going to be one of the dwarf mongoose, but then something didn't feel right. That muzzle felt a bit too long. Alright, let's go up here, slowly make our way towards the hyena den and find out if they have been able to come back or if they will be around there. On Buffelshoek, not too far from our boundary, and then he wasn't seen again that afternoon. But yesterday one of the guys had a lot of alarm calls and bushbuck alarm calls and Franklin's making a noise, so we think there might have been a leopard in here, but it's very hard. It's a very thick block, so unless you've got the animals alarming right when you're driving, then it becomes a little bit tough to try and find him. So who knows, I would really hope that he's around here. He used to be the king of Djuma, or the more dominant leopard around Djuma, before Tingana sort of pushed him a bit further north. So he could very well be around here. Like I said, we haven't seen him again, or we haven't heard any updates from him. So there's a very good possibility that that was him. moving around here. Or perhaps we have a funny feeling that there's been like a young, somewhat skittish leopard that has moved into the area, because we keep seeing tracks every now and again, and that was, that mystery carcass that Taylor had that nobody could figure out where it was. So my guess is that Taylor was playing around with the meat of a leopard that hadn't been finished yet, and maybe that's why it was either taken down because the leopard came back and started feeding of it, or perhaps the leopard took it down and just took it somewhere else to avoid any potential competition. Alright, I think this is just a bit further ahead. I always come to the hyena den from the other side, so sometimes I get a bit confused in terms of roads. Let's go have a look. Felt like there was something running there, but doesn't seem like it. Okay. No, this is not it. This is it. Alright, guys. Hopefully we'll have someone at home. Let me get onto my low range. And here we go. Wonder if maybe they'll be out and about. There's a bit of a drive just to get to the den away from the main road. Whoop. I think I see a head. Yes, I see a head for a big hyena. Now, I'm gonna have to. I see two heads. Good. And let's try and figure out who it is that is here. I'm only going to be able to drive a little bit further in, because they are pretty much lying on the entrance road. Sorry, that was just a branch. It's all good. I'm just going to stay here for a few moments, let them settle. Hello? Seems like your stomachs have gone down a little bit. You're not looking as full as you were. Now, I wonder if this is perhaps Soul, or if it's that male cub. And then if it is Gwen, the one that's lying on her back a bit further down the road. No signs of the youngsters for now, so we're just going to stick around, seeing the adults are here, and maybe we'll be able to have a look at them a little while later. A game of patience with the hyenas as well. You guys having a good sleep, hey? And it is very stormy weather, so I think sleeping is probably the best thing that they could all do. And especially if they've been walking very far throughout the night. Sleepy, are we? And we've got two of them around there, and then the den is just there. Ah, crazed drug. So you say that this is Soul? Good. So they have. So I imagine, because we identified it earlier, that the other one is Gwen. Now they got here a lot quicker than what I thought. So I'm sure they took a shortcut somewhere along the lines, and we were just stuck to the roads. But it's a lot easier when you can just go through the blocks, isn't it, guys? Now, like I said, we saw them quite far away from here, so they must have maintained a very steady pace all the way here, and perhaps they're just a bit tired, and that's why they're taking it easy. I'm sure they've been roaming around during the night looking for food. I love it when hyenas still have those beautiful untattered ears. I think it's one of my favorite features about them. Now, I cannot see any little heads peering from the den, so I think maybe the youngsters are still in there. And they've been walking so much, the adults, that now it's pretty much rest time, and the youngsters will only eventually come out after nap time. So the good thing is that they're here, and we can wait for them. Lara Moore, you say that they look so comfortable and cozy. I agree. Well, I think they're looking very nicely. Is that a little head that we see there? Oh, don't know if that's a little hen. Let's have a bit of a better look with the binoculars. No, it doesn't look like a head. Sorry, I got excited that maybe it was an ear sticking out. But no, I think it was more some dung that's up there. Looks like some elephant dung all the way up there. They are looking quite cozy, and I wish that I could just pretty much go and lie down next to them and start sleeping. Guys, you have been so entertaining the last few days. Thank you. But now I'm sure you earned your very attended break. Almost feels like you want to go pat it in the stomach. And I wonder if we're going to see what it is that we thought that maybe they were carrying around. Perhaps it's just something that they picked up and took on the trip for a little while. But seems like they're pretty settled for the next while. And now that there are no clouds, they can sleep pretty much out in the open. They don't have to look for shade. So if the wind carries on like this, there's a very good chance that they'll be out and about this afternoon, which is wonderful news for us, because I'm sure everyone's dying to see how those two little ones have been doing since pretty much yesterday, because we saw them yesterday, didn't we? Very peaceful setting. Alright, I'm gonna maybe try and go slightly forward and just park in here. I just hope that we don't disturb Soul all too much. Sorry, boy, I'm not trying to get to you. Alright. We'll have a bit of a better look here. Alright, there we go. Beautiful hyenas. How are you girls doing? Well, sorry, gal and potentially boy. Some grooming going on. Who knows where you've been walking through the night? Maybe you've been gallivanting off to the Manualetti. Seems like that was roughly the direction from where they were coming from. If not, perhaps maybe some of the staff quarters in the Sabi sand. Michael, you're wondering how many litters can a hyena have in a lifetime? That is a good question. Let's say they live until they're about maybe 20 years old. And the youngsters are weaned at about 2-ish. Well, not weaned at about a year. They only start reconceiving at about 2-ish. So I would say maybe about perhaps same as leopards. Maybe they'll have 5 different litters if they raise them all successfully. 6. Maybe even 7. Let's see if the book has a better answer than this one that I'm trying to think about. But I would say the average would be somewhere around there if they have a new litter every 2 years and they live up to 20 years. Because I'm sure there are some young ones that are also lost in the process. Alright. I am trying to find in the book, see if perhaps we have a more clear view. I'm sure studies like this must have been done before, so maybe it's even worth it trying to go into a, what is that? A paper, a scientific paper, and try to find out what the story is. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Also not what I'm looking for. Parenting and offspring behavior. Maybe that's somewhere in there. No. Yeah, I'm gonna go with an average of perhaps 6 to 7 litters in their lifetime. If they stick with all of their litters and they don't raise them to adulthood. We're going to stay with this sleepy hyena, see if perhaps the little ones come out, but while we do that, let's go to Taylor, who's got a monitor lizard in Chitwa Dam.
We do, and we've actually seen this monitor lizard a couple of times. It's a water monitor. I think Ali had a nice sighting the other day when the crocodile was quite close by, but it either sits up here near this termite mound. I'm sure it's getting a bit of heat coming out of the ground, and that's why it's resting there, but sometimes it goes in for a dip and then it's on the island where we often see the crocodile sitting too. But this isn't a big one, this is a little one. They've still got lots and lots of growing to do, as you can see, but they're beautiful anyways. They've got very, very strong claws. You can actually see how sharp their claws are. We're quite close. I'm surprised it hasn't actually run away from us and gone into the water. Look at those powerful claws. Great for digging. And it's amazing to see that the crocodile tolerates the water monitors, because most of the time when crocodiles lay their eggs, they don't actually make it to adulthood. There's only a small percentage of them, the little crocodiles, that make it to adulthood, the hatchlings. And this guy over here is actually one of the reasons for that, is that they will dig in a crocodile nest, so they bury their eggs and they'll eat them. And also when they're young and they've just sort of left their nest, these water monitors will go after them too. But they'll eat a variety of different things. They'll scavenge off of carcasses if there are any nearby the water. But they are experts at raiding nests. I'm sure the Egyptian geese worry about these reptiles too, because they're good climbers. Not only are they able to swim very well, they can go right up to the tops of the tree and climb right into those nests. But I did see some elephants, and now elephants is something that I've been wanting to find for you all this entire morning. What's got the Egyptian geese? Let's have a look at that hippo. There's a little hippo opening its mouth just in the distance. That's where the pod of hippos are now. They don't seem to be doing too much, just relaxing, except that one that decided it was going to open its mouth very, very quickly. Look at them. There they all are. Kylie, you're wondering if it's hippopotamuses or hippopotami. I'm actually not sure which one it is, to be honest. What do you think, Megan? Hippopotami sounds much better. Hippopotamuses is probably the correct one. Hippopotami. Who's going to pop it into the interweb so we can figure out which one it is? Hippopotamuses. Craig, what do you think? Oh, Alice is going. Alice is D2 today. I think it's hippopotamuses. I don't think it's hippopotami. I'd love it to be hippopotami. Let's hope we're incorrect. That's quite a large hippo. That looks like it's potentially the bull in that pod. He's just resting. Oh, there's the little one opening its mouth again. Hello. Yes. You can see the teeth are just starting to develop. I think this is one of the little ones that we get to see. Okay. Oh, so it seems as though none of us are incorrect there. Apparently the most used is hippopotamuses. However, you can also use hippopotami. This is what the web has said. So I think you can use either one, maybe depending on your mood. It will determine that. There's quite a few little birds running around here. There's a little red-billed buffalo weaver just over there. Sorry, I'm turning the game drive radio off. It's very loud. Collecting sticks. You see that? That's a nice stick. It's got lots of thorns on. And buffalo weavers seem to prefer vegetation with thorns or spines on them, just because it does provide protection. See there, it's going to look for a better bit. That's a good spot to look. It keeps out raptors. It also keeps out things like snakes. Well, they'll try to. And that's one of the reasons why they also try and build their nests over water where they can. And they constantly are repairing their nests all year round. They never stop working. The buffalo weavers, they're exceptionally hard workers. There we go. That's a good bit. Now you just need to pull it out from the grass. Oh wow, look how long that piece is too. Are you going to be able to manage and carry that? See how strong you are. Oh wow. Isn't that incredible? And off it goes into its nest. Oh, that looks like it's just a nest that's just starting up too. So yes, you've still got a long way to go. As you can see, there's another one bouncing about too. So they'll all work on this together. Well, that's really nice. Right, let's go. Oh, there's a little crake I want to show you, a black crake, right opposite the water monitor on the island. It's just going up to the island now. We don't get to see them for very often and for very long either. Black crakes, I love their little yellow beaks and their bright red legs. That was a chasing after an insect. That was amazing. Did you think that a bird with such long legs and big feet could run that quickly? That was very impressive. Now, Megan, I want to get to these elephants, but the elephants are down there. I don't know what our signal is looking like. Can we move? I'm waiting for a response. Okay, so to avoid the gremlins attacking me, and while I go and try and figure out where those elephants are, I'm going to send you back to Ali, who's still waiting patiently at the den.
We are waiting patiently, just hoping for either one of them to come out of the hole, or the adults that are here just to come out and start moving around. So I was going through the book and just trying to figure out how many possible litters they would be able to have, and I think maybe if we think about it this way, normally they will come sexually reproductive when they're about 3 years of age, maybe even 4. So the breeding interval is roughly 2 to 3 years, so it's 4 to 7-ish. It's 1, 10 to 7 to 10 is the second litter, potentially 13, 15. What's after 15 plus 2, 3, 18, 20. So about 6, maybe 5, 6 different litters. Perhaps if they are very, very successful and they have very good times and they can raise their young quicker, maybe they'll even be able to have an extra one. I would say it's roughly the same interval as what we were discussing earlier with Shadow and cubs today, although I think because Shadow has lost so many litters in a lifetime, every time that she loses a litter, then she will go, and it happens not only with Shadow but also with hyenas and pretty much any other creature around. If they do not manage to successfully raise their litter into adulthood, then they'll go back into estrus and they'll, I think in ideal conditions, I mean, they would have maybe as few as 5, 6 litters, but then if they lose their litters and they come into estrus more often than they would normally do because they don't have any young ones to raise, then maybe the litter number increases. Seems like 4 now. I'm gonna put my gloves back on because I am still slightly cold, and I am hoping that, come on guys, I think we're going to be playing the patience game with the hyenas like we've been doing with some of the leopards and lions lately. Because we do know what the reward is and where the reward is currently hiding, probably having a good nap. So we shall carry on waiting for them. Now, if you look at the spots of the hyenas also have got a unique spot pattern in them, so you are able to identify individuals just by looking at their beautiful spots. And they start, if the little ones will come out, they start getting their spots normally when they're around about 3 months of age, and when they start venturing more often out of the den. Because when they are born, they almost look like tiny little black bears, and as they start growing older, like Intima is, then their head's going to start changing color, their hair starts becoming a little bit longer and lighter. So I think Intima's starting to get onto that phase where she is still young, but she's not the smallest one, as we have seen from the other little cub. This is also a very nice den site, very big, lots of chambers, very well hidden. Well done guys. No waking up though, hey? I think maybe they started running after we saw them. I didn't think we took that long to get here. And what a peaceful setting with all the little birds chattering around. Another great morning out in the bush. Now I'm sure once the little ones come out, they're going to be starving. And likely they're going to maybe play around a little bit and then start making all sorts of funny noises, asking for food. We're going to carry on waiting for these little ones to come out here, but Taylor has found another matriarchal society, hopefully. So let's go to her and find out what she's looking at.
We've got elephants! We've got elephants and a greenback heron. Craig, can I draw your attention away from the elephants because this heron is right here. It's so cool. Look at it. It's so close. Oh, it caught something. What did you catch? That was amazing. I'm even going to be sneaky. I'm so terrible. But it is so cool. I've never photographed in my entire life a greenback heron, so don't tell anyone. It is beautiful. Now, I'm going to go back to the elephants because the elephants are right here. But these birds are amazing to watch. And it's something that I'm dying to see with the herons. Because I've watched lots of footage with them, with these greenback herons. Is that they use fishing techniques. So sometimes they'll even take objects and dip them in the water and put them in front of them to lure fish closer. So that they can stab their beaks straight through them and catch a nice tasty treat. I think it caught a little frog or something. It didn't look particularly large, but they're such beautiful birds. Look how careful they are as well, as they put their foot, well, their right foot in front of the other, making sure they don't create too many ripples on the surface of the water. There's lots of insect activity around there, as you can see. But what a beautiful view. So that's why I said to you, I said I have to take you away from the elephants because that is just too gorgeous. Normally when you see the greenback herons, they're so far away that you squint to have to see them. Kim, you said that they look so sneaky, especially when they run off like that. You almost need to cue the Pink Panther music, don't you think? Do-dum, 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 dum, dum, dum. And it's gone now. That was so cool. How's that? It was a double sighting. Not only did we have the greenback heron, but we've got this elephant who's now putting on a show for us. He is stretching up. These are two young bulls up against a balanites tree, a greenthorn or a torchwood. They go by many different names. You are not going to push that over. I think you are still a little bit too small. I reckon they're not even 20 years old yet. The one on the left is slightly older. He must be about maybe 18 years old. And the one on the right, hear them talking to each other? The one on the right is probably 15, maybe even a little bit less. Yes, you're coming over to be curious now. Hello. Naughty boys at this age. I'm just going to tell him that I don't like the signs that he's showing us. No. Don't. Behave. Or you are going to get scared because I'm going to shout at you and you're not going to like that. And you see what he's trying to do? He's trying to intimidate me now. He's raising his head. Don't be silly. I just want to be your friend. You can be my friend. You haven't even looked at me since we arrived and now you're behaving like this. Are you trying to show off for your friend? It's not working. Craig and I are not scared. Batman, are you scared? No. Craig laughs in the fear of danger, and on the face of danger, sorry. There you go. See, but he'll settle down. It's so typical. He's at that point in his life where he's trying his absolute best to see him as big and brave. In the meantime, he's really not big and brave at all. He's actually quite scared. You don't have to behave ugly. But it's a nice close view though. It's really quite cool, in fact. He's settling down now. He's probably going to shake his head at us at one point. It wouldn't surprise me. He's so close we can just fit him in into the frame. Yes, there we go. Now he's starting to back off. That's a good boy. There we go. Now he's settled down. See, he obviously worked out, she's so boring. We're not getting a reaction out of her. Okay, I'm just going to eat now. Well, let's see if he's going to eat. Yeah. So you're not doing the silly displacement behavior that young elephant bulls are known to do. Sorry, a rogue hiccup. Now you're eating a very prickly plant. Teresa, you say that this elephant bull is so handsome. He is indeed. He's actually a lovely looking fella. He got nice ivory, he had beautiful Beautiful eyes too, when he opens them wide enough that we can see them. And now he's settled down. You can see that his bottom lip is wet. They were having a drink. We actually spotted them as we were coming across the dam wall. And I tried to get over here as quick as I could to catch them having a drink. But it seems as though they didn't spend much time at all at the water. And because it's not very hot today, it's still quite cool. They don't need to splash all the water and cover themselves with mud. There's no need to do that. But I still can't figure out where that big breeding herd has gone. They must still be feeding in the drainage line somewhere just out of view. But I'm sure that they're still around here. My boys, you are very precious. Thank you very much, because we've been looking for elephants the entire day. So I'm so happy to see you. He's investigating down on the ground. I think he's also looking for the fruit. Every time they come around here. Here we go. What did you find? Did you find a piece? They look for the balanites fruit, but there shouldn't be any more left now. Oh, he's got the seeds. That's what he's picking up. He's just picking up the seeds of the balanites fruit that's been left behind. He's looking in some old elephant dung. Maybe there's even the odd marula nut in there. Are you going to crunch that seed? I'm just trying to listen to see if he is. No. This is so lovely. Now you can see how important though a trunk is to an elephant, and that's why I always feel so sad when we see elephants that have been caught up in snares and have lost some of the tip of their trunk, because they use it to investigate all around. Going to touch it. Very gentle. He's coming right over now too. Hello, boy. Now he's actually approaching us in a nice relaxed manner. He hasn't shown any aggressive signs like the other. And he's still there, don't worry. He's just on the other side. Going to eat in exact. Going to act all big and scary. I was just talking about. That's possibly also what they could be doing. You're going to come right past, or you're just pretending? Exactly what. This is so wonderful. You can see why you can spend all day with the elephants. Listen to me. Look how careful he's putting. Look at his feet, Craig. Look how carefully he was putting his feet down. Oh no, he's not. It was so funny. It was like, you know, when the kudu and the nyala walk, or even when a leopard is stalking something, how they make sure they don't stand on anything that can crunch underneath their feet. They're talking to each other again. He was doing that, but now he's carried on. This is beautiful. Now they keep doing these sort of low rumblings to each other. I'd love to know what they're actually saying. Maybe they're deciding where they're going to go from here, if they're going to go and feed. Are they going to carry on their own, or they're going to try and follow up on the breeding herd that has moved through here already. But for now, it's just time to carry on feeding, which they will do the whole day. They don't need much rest. A couple of hours a day. Sometimes they go complete 24 hours without having a sleep. But lovely fellas. It's nice when they're settled down like this and they don't mind our presence. And you can see there's a beautiful waterbuck bull as well, just sitting in between the elephants. He keeps turning back this way, just keeping a close eye on them every now and then. Because knowing these young fellas, especially this younger one, what a beautiful morning it's turned out to be. You know, it shouldn't be Nancy negative all the time when you're driving around, and it is quite disheartening not to find animals, and you're searching and you just miss leopards, things like that. It definitely does take its toll, but we've been lucky towards the end. We actually had nice variety, and I think my highlight so far was seeing that greenback heron. That was really, really, really fascinating. And I wish it had stuck around so we could have watched it for a bit longer. But now that we know that Lily living in this corner, it's a bit better. What I'm going to do is, Megan, I'm going to try and move back slightly so we can get the air out of the way. Move back a little bit.
Oh no, it seems like they got a hold of Taylor. We have been patiently waiting here with a very trustworthy book, waiting for the hyenas to kind of move and perhaps call the little ones out. It seems like, however, that's not the plan for the day. This, what we think is Gwen did glance in that direction for a little while earlier on, and we were hoping that they were going to start perhaps calling, or the youngsters were gonna come out, but I think they've enjoyed it. They are enjoying their sleep way too much for this. And I wonder if they have been moving around the whole night. Well, you can imagine why they're so tired and why they very likely don't want to move or do anything. And I mean, she's got such a comfy spot that why would you even really want to move? I am a bit jealous of her spots. She looks very happy where she is. And I think perhaps we're gonna just stay here for another 5-10 minutes, see if the little ones come out. If not, then we'll definitely try again this afternoon, because I don't think these hyenas will be up to too much for the time being. I think the weather conditions helped them, or allowed for them to start or to move a bit further into the morning and perhaps go for a bigger hunting session or patrol session, and now they are resting. We found them quite further away from what we saw them the other day, so I'm not too sure how much they've been walking during the night, but I'm guessing at least a few Ks. Soundly asleep. Looks very much like a dog in the way that it's sleeping. Chris Drug, you're saying that you think that the other hyena doesn't look like Gwen. I was wondering about it because the ears look a bit too roundy for me. So you say maybe it's Soul's littermate Heart. I think you might be right just by judging at it. I did think that maybe my eyes were getting a bit confused and Gwen didn't look as big. But sometimes in the mornings strange things happen. But I'm glad to think that, as somebody that's been viewing them for probably longer than what I have, we have the same idea. I do think that you are right. This looks like a younger hyena. And often the hyenas will leave a babysitter to look after the den in case anything comes around and tries to threaten the younger. It's not that they would be super ferocious in attacking it, but it's always good to have a babysitter looking after the little ones. Now, I don't know if maybe they have gone onto the other side of the den because they also like to be there. But because we have these two sleeping here, I don't think I'm going to go around and disturb them. So we're just, like I said, going to give it another 5 to 10 minutes. See if perhaps they start moving around or if there's any action coming from the den. But I think that maybe not. So I wonder if actually what we saw earlier wasn't Gwen and perhaps it was another hyena. You see, now it's all getting very confusing. Perhaps Gwen is here somewhere around here. Perhaps she's still on her way. Interesting. When we were watching them earlier, it was a bit of a tough look in between the bushes. It seems like you guys are quite enjoying this. Now, if it's two young males, normally the males will disperse from higher ranking, from their clan onto another clan, just to have or be able to compete for mating rights, which is pretty much what all males out in the bush are looking for, just to be able to pass down their genes. So the males, unlike the females that become fully grown around about 2 years old, 3 years old, they're only gonna become fully grown at around 4, and they only leave their natal clan around about that age, and because they are probably bigger than the males that are in another clan, and especially if they are the offspring of a dominant female, they will have that self-confidence that will allow them to impose themselves as the dominant males in a new clan and perhaps guarantee them more mating opportunities. Colleen, you're wondering if den members babysit cubs. Not as much as cooperative as we see perhaps in wild dogs, but often they will leave one member behind to kind of keep an eye on things and just make sure that nothing goes wrong. It's a good encounter point. This is where they've all been coming back and forth, so if they would like to meet up with the rest of the clan, it's a good point to start looking for the rest of them. But yes, often they will leave a babysitter around, waiting to look after the den and the young ones in the den. Guys, not even one move, hey? You guys are completely out. Now we hear a lot of francolins in the distance. If you were wondering what that noise was. No, I don't think these guys are going to be up to too much. I think maybe it would be worth it just coming back in the afternoon. Hopefully we will have foraging and they're scavenging. I wonder if perhaps, I know Taylor has been taking all sorts of videos of hyenas coming into camp, so I wonder if it was one of these two that she got yesterday. Seems like Taylor has been enjoying sneaking up on the hyenas in the middle of the night when they come and they start going through the garbage, and she always takes videos of them and she catches them. She watches them from her room. So I wonder if perhaps one of these two was not the one that was causing havoc yesterday morning or yesterday during the night. Alright guys, I think we are going to be leaving this den. I don't think there's going to be too much happening around here. I think these guys are pretty fast and sound and asleep. And we're going to maybe start heading roughly back into camp, see if we can bump into, fingers crossed, that other leopard that apparently was heard around. Happening. Okay, are you fine?
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright, let's just watch out for any other possible things. It's a bit of crazy off-roading at the den. And I think I can turn around back here. Alright, seems like Taylor has managed to leave Gremlin Land, so let's go over to her and see what she would like for breakfast.
Craig and I were actually discussing that much earlier this morning. But we had to leave those elephants. We just couldn't get a decent spot. But also another reason why we had to go is because everybody is coming back from safari now, and I'm sure that the guests would not like to see us standing there when they're looking into their windows while they freshen up before breakfast. So we just decided to also leave to give all the guests peace and quiet. Now, what a great morning it actually turned out to be. Really nice. A day warms up though. I'm not a fan of these chilly overcast days. Days like this to me remind me of holidays and spending all day in bed watching movies with popcorn and chocolate and all those types of things. But of course, when you're out in the bush, you don't really get time to do things like that. We always have meetings, we're always doing something behind the scenes. So I feel sad when I have to work on days like this, because I'd much prefer the sunshine then as well. Right, let's go down here, down this road. We're back on Djuma now. So even though the first time we went to Chitwa didn't seem to be too successful, the second time round was much better. Sometimes that happens. You can go drive the same area over and over and not see anything. So this is the road that male lion actually walked down. He came walking down here. Let's see if I can point out a track for you. looks like a lot of guides have driven here. Where's this bird that's chirping like this? It sounds like a scrub robin. Oh no, it's not. Something else. Anyways, let me show you a lion track. Craigie, I don't know if you can see any of them. You see where that stick is that's lying like this on the road? Right, there's a lion track over there. I'm not going to get out just because we don't have much time to go. But if you look just to the left, a little bit more to the left, there we go, you're on them. Very faint in the ground. It's quite difficult to actually see them because a lot of cars have been driving up and down here. And dust has now kicked up and sort of distorted the track slightly. But those are male lion tracks. And you can see, so this is where he came charging down the road and then crossed out on Weaver's Nest, which is a pity. But maybe they come back, maybe this cool weather's not going to be a bad thing. Maybe the cats keep moving around and we'll find some for this afternoon. But for the last final minutes, I'm going to send you back across to Ali.
Yes, well, I agree with you, Taylor. Hopefully we'll have some of those lions come back from where they were, and also Shadow will come back from Hoffman's. Perhaps we'll have the royal cubs coming in and pop by for a visit. That would be wonderful. But I think it's very fantastic moody weather, as Taylor was saying. It seems like, or it feels like it's getting colder actually than what we first started out in the morning. But nonetheless, we're almost back home, and of course, time to make up for all the coffee we couldn't have yesterday. Very excited for that. I think Megs is also very excited from the coffee. I did almost hear her giggle. So she is also very much looking forward for all the coffee that we're gonna have. We're gonna make one big pot. But we've had a very amazing morning today. It started out as a very moody morning. Beautiful. 40 minutes. Hey, Megs. Started out as a very interesting morning. You can see that Megan really needs the coffee now. And we're going to just get ready for this afternoon safari, find out who or which animals are gonna come back. We hope so many of them are gonna come back, and of course, if not, then we'll be able to see what happens in a moody weather day. We are almost at camp. There you go, the Djuma research camp. I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone, and we'll see you guys later on this afternoon.